what's up everybody? This is Flashback Toys and Collectibles. And today I'll be opening up a Michelangelo from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Playmates toy line. So here's a look at the front of the packaging. Heroes in a half shell. Michelangelo weapon nunchucks. Amazing turtleistic arm movement, deluxe weapons assortment, weapons belt, and weapons rack included. So all of that is inside here. Here is the back of the box. So right here it does give a little bit of a storyline of how some pet turtles became the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And here's some of the other turtles that are available. We got Donatello, Leonardo, and Raphael. Portrait of Michelangelo, the wild and crazy turtle. Michelangelo is a party reptile. Even though the sinister shredder may be slicing his way through the manhole cover, Mike stays cool. Cool because he's a master of the whirling nunchuks. It takes 8 pounds of pressure per square inch to break a bone. The nunchuks generate 90. And it looks like this was manufactured back in 2021 by Playmates Toys. Okay, let's go ahead and get this opened up. And as far as the packaging goes, I like to just keep the card back, so what I'll do is just cut this bubble off the front of it here. Then remove the bubble. Then we have an inner bubble here. It looks like he's secured on the back with one strap. So just cut that loose. And now everything should be loose. So Michelangelo should pull out of here. Let's go ahead and take these apart here. So normally with weapons for action figures like this, the weapons are usually pretty easy to remove from the plastic tabs, but for some reason all these plastic tabs are pretty thick and you really can't get these off without cutting them loose. So I guess this also doubles as a weapon rack, but first I need to cut off all the tabs that held the weapons in place to begin with. And I don't think a little kid's going to have patience to mess with all this. And I'm not really sure I care about this rack at all. And here is a closer look at everything that comes inside the packaging. Of course, we got Michelangelo, the figure himself, a weapons rack, 2 nunchuks, some ninja stars, a knife, and 2 daggers. Now let's take a closer look at Mikey here. So he's got his orange mask on, with his orange elbow pads and wristbands, and knee pads, with the black belt with the M in the center. And it looks like here on the back of the belt there are spots to store some of the weapons. Let's see how well they fit. So that fits pretty good. And as far as these weapons go, I don't think these will fit in the belt. And there is some small tabs on the back of the belt here that I thought might hold the stars, but looks like these tabs aren't big enough to hold the stars in place. They just fall right off. Looks like the only thing you can hold back here is weapons that have a handle like this. So the nunchucks can also be stored back here. Now let's see how well this guy can hold the weapons. So both the hands are in kind of a half open position. And as you can see here, he seems to hold the nunchucks pretty well. Now let's try this little sword out. And it looks like this can go in either hand. So it looks like he can hold that no problem as well. Then we have the small dagger here, which pops right in the hand, no problem. And let's try the other one out here. Now one thing I'm noticing with this figure is this belt comes off super easy. So I keep bumping into it and it keeps falling right off. So it looks like this guy has a solid plastic head and it can swivel back and forth. And then the arms can swivel at the top at the shoulders. And then also swivel at the elbow, back and forth. And then the hand is in a fixed position, so you can't move the hand. And then it looks like the legs are attached to a ball joint, so they can swivel around at the top right here. But that's it for the movement on the legs. There's no movement at the knee or foot, only at the top here. Now let's compare this guy with a vintage Michelangelo figure from 1988. So it looks like they're pretty close to the same scale, but it looks like the new one is slightly taller. Just barely. As far as the head sculpt goes, he appears to have the same smile, but his head is bigger. You can see right here his head is definitely bigger on the new figure. As far as the color scheme goes between these two figures, they're pretty similar. You got the orange and green, although the orange on the older figure seems to be a little bit darker. Also, the shell appears to be brighter on the inside right here as well. Then on the back here, you can see that his shell looks more black, and this shell looks more gray. And here is a side-by-side comparison with these two guys on the right side. And here's a look at the left side. So as far as the body goes, everything is pretty close. The main difference between these two guys, I would say, is the size of the head. As far as the articulation between the two, I think it's the same. So this guy, his head can swivel back and forth, and this guy also has a solid plastic head. Then you can move at the top of the shoulders, and the elbow, and at the top of the legs. So all that's pretty similar to this guy. So to be honest, the only reason I purchased this guy was for the weapons. My plan was to use this belt and the weapons for the older Michelangelo figure. But I'm not sure if all these accessories will fit on the older figure because there is some differences between these two figures. So let's go ahead and try that out now and see how this works out. Take the belt off here, put it on the older figure. And it looks like the belt's a little bit tighter on the older figure, but it still fits. So the belt fits no problem. Now let's see if he can hold the weapons. So they seem to be a little bit tighter fit in his hand, but they do go in there. So that's cool. The belt and the weapons seem to work with the older figure. As far as this weapon rack goes, it looks like you can put some of the weapons on it, such as the stars here. They can slide over the tabs, like that. So it looks like the rest of the weapons can kind of just rest in place, but they're not secured like the stars are. So if you were to tilt this up, all the weapons are just going to fall off. So not a very good rack. So here's my final thoughts of this retro remake of Michelangelo from the 1980s. It seems to be a pretty solid figure that's made well, and it looks pretty close to what the retro figures used to look like, especially the body. But as far as the heads go, this guy's head is definitely bigger, so that's the biggest change between this figure and the old figure. Okay, it's now time for me to go. If you liked this video, if you could, hit that like button and please subscribe. And have yourself a great day, and I'll see you next time.